Good evening, I'm Ian Hanomansing. Tonight, the Thanksgiving test. Will Canadians share more than a meal this weekend?
The pandemic isn't over just because you're over it.
Millions are living under new restrictions on this holiday weekend, targeted to break the second wave. What it means for business owners.
Can I plan? Should I order or should I not order?
Will they work? And why are cases rising among Indigenous people? Donald Trump says he's immune and he's ready to hit the campaign trail just 3 weeks until the election. A CBC News investigation into the booming business of imported puppies.
He's like months old, and this poor thing's like crying in pain.
How they get here, what they bring with them.
It's heartbreaking.
And what you need to know before you buy. Plus, on a Thanksgiving weekend like none other, what are you thankful for?
My resilient mother.
Extra time with our family and our health.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
This is The National. The second wave in parts of Canada has already surpassed the first in terms of known daily infections, and now the country faces a crucial test. Its first COVID-19 Thanksgiving. Across much of Canada, officials have urged people to keep gatherings small and obey local health rules. And in some places, those were recently tightened. Parts of Ontario spending their first weekend in months in a mandatory partial shutdown. For those living under these new rules, it is a particularly tough Thanksgiving. Anxiety and disappointment compounded by 7 months of COVID fatigue. No indoor restaurant dining. Families urged to stay apart while officials can only hope they comply. Kelda Ewan now on what's at stake.
At Maple Leaf Tavern in Toronto, the Thanksgiving kids are ready to go and doing record business.
We've got some roast turkey breast, some smoked turkey sausage. The busiest takeout initiative that we've ever done.
We've sold out over 150 kits.
This is one of the ways the restaurant is trying to survive. Customers had trickled back when indoor dining resumed in July.
We had our highest sales within the last few weeks.
But that all ended Friday when Ontario set a new one-day record of 939 cases. The Ford government rebanned indoor dining and closed other indoor spaces like gyms, casinos, and movie theaters for 28 days in 3 hotspots: Toronto, Ottawa, and Peel region.
What's that going to look like in the next month? We're not sure.
The restaurant says business is down 65% compared to last year, but they are grateful for the community support this Thanksgiving. More than 300,000 restaurant workers lost their jobs in the first wave in Ontario alone. Concerns now that the new shutdowns could stress already taxed food banks.
One of our programs set a single-day record by serving 760 households, and majority of them are new clients. They came to us either because of their local food banks were closed or because of their financial situations have changed.
And the looming question, what if the restrictions don't bring down the case numbers?
On the horizon is Christmas, one of their big seasons in the restaurant industry. And then right after that, New Year's. And I'm sure if I'm a restaurant owner, I'm saying, what is that season going to look like?
At Maple Leaf Tavern, they're figuring out new ways to make it through.
We were planning on launching a to-go marketplace online. This definitely has accelerated those plans.
In this time of incredible uncertainty, remaining flexible may be the only way to survive. Kelda Ewan, CBC News, Toronto.
In Quebec, the list of so-called red zones expanded today in response to the rise in COVID-19 infections. Contact between households and mass gatherings are now restricted in Gatineau and a neighboring region. They join Montreal, Quebec City, and surrounding areas also in the red. Many of those earlier red zones were declared at the end of September, and about a week later, Quebec's new case rate did start to taper off, though it's still by far the highest in the country. The Atlantic bubble, meanwhile, is under pressure. New Brunswick reporting 14 cases today linked to outbreaks in Campbellton and Moncton, including at a special care home. Overall, the province has reported 70 cases over the past week, the fastest pace since the pandemic began. PEI and Newfoundland and Labrador have issued travel advisories in response. Let's bring in infectious disease specialist Dr. Isaac Bogosh, who is in Toronto. And Dr. Bogosh, numbers down in Ontario today. I know it's just one day, but still. And in the red zone in Quebec, also numbers maybe a little lower than we've seen in the past. Are we getting some things right?
I think we're getting things right in terms of policy. We've certainly seen a big pivot and an adjustment on behalf of many of the provincial governments, and hopefully this policy will really ensure that we do see a lower number of cases. But just today, seeing these cases a little bit lower, I think it's too soon to tell if we're actually headed in the right direction.
And I know you continue to have concerns. Take us through those, please.
Yeah, one of them is that Canadians in general are doing fantastic, but one of the concerns is complacency, and certainly we really need to be vigilant throughout the fall and the winter. I think the second one is the influenza season is upon us, and just because the Southern Hemisphere had a pretty mild influenza season, that's no guarantee that we'll have a mild one. So we really need to do the right thing, get our flu shots, and hopefully the same public health measures like physical distancing and mask wearing and hand hygiene will enable a more smooth influenza season. And then, lastly, it's only October. There's a long fall and winter ahead. And while we're doing okay now, there's plenty of time for things to get better, but that means there's also plenty of times for things to get worse. So we really need to be vigilant throughout the fall and the winter.
I know this has been a busy on-call day for you. Thanks for fitting us in.
My pleasure.
Manitoba reported 54 cases today. That is down from Saturday's new one-day record of 97. And COVID-19 is hitting some there much harder than others, Indigenous communities especially. Austin Grabish brings us that story tonight.
I pray for our community, for the people, and for the ones that were positive with it.
Sunshine Bushy and her 3 kids aren't leaving their home in Little Grand Rapids. More than 24 people have tested positive for COVID-19. It's one of 9 Manitoba Indigenous communities reporting cases.
The current rate of hospitalizations for First Nations people in Manitoba due to COVID-19 is 10 times what it is for the rest of Manitoba.
The Assembly of Manitoba Chiefs says as of Friday, half the people in hospital were First Nations. The AMC says there are at least 60 active cases on reserve. People sick are as young as 1 and as old as 86. And half who've been diagnosed have an underlying health issue.
I think it's significant, but I think it's also a testament to what we already knew. Unfortunately, due to poverty and due to a lot of systemic issues, our populations have more underlying health issues.
That's why the Minister of Indigenous Services is so concerned about what's to come. Mark Miller says the COVID-19 infection rate on reserves has been continuously rising since mid-August.
Given what we have seen in the last 2 weeks, there is little doubt that the second wave of COVID will hit Indigenous peoples harder than the first wave.
Ottawa sent 2 isolation tents to Little Grand Rapids, with dozens more ready to go if needed. And the Red Cross has trained people in Little Grand Rapids and another First Nation on how to use PPE.
For my boy, he misses playing outside, but nobody can't go out.
With cold weather on the way and more forced to be inside, leaders are urging vigilance. Austin Grabish, CBC News, Winnipeg.
This is usually the time of year when thousands of Canadian snowbirds take off to spend the winter in the sunny American South. COVID-19 has made that extremely difficult this year, but not impossible for those willing to take the risk. Alison Northcott explains.
Brian Lawson usually spends much of the winter in Florida, but not this year.
Health-wise, I'd much rather be cold than get sick, be warm and get sick, so I'll stay here.
Many at this Quebec trailer park near the U.S. border spend their summers here and head south in the fall, but it's another routine disrupted by COVID-19.
I'm not the only one that's probably going to freeze their butts off this year like in Quebec.
With Canada-U.S. land border crossings closed to non-essential travel, snowbirds can't drive to the U.S. as many normally would, but they can fly there.
I haven't seen winter since 1991.
That's what Therese Dinziani plans to do despite the Canadian government warning against travel.
Confined here in the cold weather or confined in Florida, and I could also go on the beach. I prefer 100% to be in Florida.
Her trailer isn't winterized and she doesn't own winter tires, so she says she's got insurance that covers COVID and a plan to send her car across the border before her flight at the end of the month.
We get like 200 calls a day.
Commercial traffic can cross the border, and this transport company has been fielding calls from snowbirds ready to pay thousands of dollars to get their vehicles down south.
We are authorized to cross the borders with their cars and RVs, So we transport it to Florida and people just fly out there.
But the federal government warns if travelers run into trouble abroad, it may have limited capacity to help, and that older people are particularly at risk when it comes to COVID-19. It could also cause problems for the healthcare systems on both sides of the border, says this expert.
Over a relatively short period of time, a large number of people traveling can overwhelm the ability of public health and contact tracing to do their job.
As the leaves fall, Brian Lawson is bracing himself for winter with the hopes he can escape it again another year. Alison Northcott, CBC News, Hemmingford, Quebec.
India has now surpassed 7 million cases of COVID-19, the country adding 1 million in just the last 2 weeks. This rising count comes as the country begins festival season and puts it on track to surpass the United States as worst hit by the pandemic. The UK is expected to announce tomorrow new lockdowns for virus hot zones in northern England. One of the government's top advisors says the country is at a tipping point, similar to where it was in March. COVID-19 has killed more than 42,000 people in the UK, Europe's deadliest outbreak. And coronavirus has thrown another flag this NFL season, this time delaying the Monday night matchup between the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots after a fourth person on the Pats tested positive. The game has been rescheduled for next Sunday, and that has forced other changes. Once again, Donald Trump has said he has immunity. Now, previously that related to legal matters. This time, though, it's to COVID-19. But as Paul Hunter tells us, whether his campaign is immune is another matter.
The day after standing maskless on the White House balcony before a crowd packed shoulder to shoulder, Donald Trump today in an interview on Fox News made clear that when it comes to him and COVID,
looks like I'm immune for, I don't know, maybe a long time or maybe a short time. It could be a lifetime. Nobody really knows, but I'm immune.
just days after being released from hospital after treatment for COVID, Trump's doctor released a statement overnight saying the president is no longer contagious. He did not say Trump had tested negative. Trump tweeted, "That means I can't get it and I can't give it." But Twitter then promptly attached this warning to Trump's tweet, suggesting the president may be spreading misleading and potentially harmful information. All of it with the president sliding further in public opinion polls, not least over his handling of the pandemic.
President Trump is recovering from the coronavirus.
So consider this new ad from the Trump campaign with what seems to be a high-profile endorsement of Trump's response to the crisis.
I can't imagine that anybody could be doing more.
Except Anthony Fauci, lead White House scientist on COVID, says his words from months ago were taken out of context, that he was speaking broadly about federal officials, not the president. It's clear Trump is keen to signal personal and political strength. After that campaign-style event yesterday, Trump, now self-describing as immune from COVID, will stage rallies this week in multiple states. That begins tomorrow in Florida, a state that's lately been expecting another COVID spike. Still, says Trump, he feels great. Immunity, he said this morning, means having a protective glow. And to have that, he said, is important. Paul Hunter, CBC News, Washington.
A First Nation community in Quebec is in mourning after the killing of two young boys. Their bodies discovered in a home in Wendake, just outside Quebec City. Matt Demore shows us the impact of this tragedy.
It really hurts this morning. You know, we're all falling apart.
Like many in Wendake, Grand Chief Conrad Siwi woke up to tragic news. Two boys, aged 2 and 5, were found dead at a home in the Huron-Wendat community. Provincial police say a 30-year-old man turned himself in.
Actually is detained for a double murder, and it has been the drive to the hospital center in Quebec for an evaluation of his condition.
Nearby, a memorial was set up for the two boys. More than 250 kilometers away, a small group gathered in downtown Montreal for a planned protest. Called Indigenous Day of Rage, the event highlighted many issues facing Indigenous peoples. Speaker Ocean Batia Lewis heard the news from Wendake this morning.
It really saddens me to think that there are these children, their lives are being taken too soon, and also it makes me reflect on the other issue of the missing and murdered Indigenous women and how it is devastating for these communities.
Back in Wendake, Chief Siwi says counseling will be offered to anyone in the community who needs it, and offers of support have come in from the provincial and federal governments.
We leave the door open, and I'm waiting for some answers from our people at the Social Services Department, and we might need maybe today or tomorrow some more help, because there's so many people affected and touched,
Both Quebec Premier François Legault and the province's new Minister of Indigenous Affairs, Yann Lafrenière, reacted on Twitter, sending messages of condolence. Provincial police say the man who turned himself in is being questioned by investigators. Matt Damour, CBC News, Montreal.
2 Canadians detained in China were allowed consular access this weekend for the first time since January. Canada's ambassador to China was allowed to meet virtually with Michael Spavor on Friday and Michael Kovrig on Saturday. Vina Najibullah, Kovrig's wife, told the National her husband was relieved to get news from the outside world, sharing the statement from his family. He was particularly heartened by reassurances regarding the health of everyone in the family and the ongoing efforts to secure his freedom. He was astonished to learn about the details of the COVID-19 pandemic and remarked that it all sounded like a zombie apocalypse movie. We're extremely proud that despite his long confinement, Michael's spirit, determination, and even a sense of humor remain unbroken. This is definitely something we can be grateful for this Thanksgiving weekend. The 2 men have been held in isolation since December 2018. Now to an exclusive story about last year's federal election. CBC News has learned that for more than 3,000 people who voted, there's conflicting information about their citizenship. But Elections Canada says it still hasn't determined if any non-Canadians did vote. Ashley Burke tells us what it all could mean.
Paul Gabriel's in disbelief. He's a permanent resident who mistakenly received a voter information card for the first time in the mail last year.
I was kind of convinced that I had an entitlement to use it if I got one, so I was fortunate that I actually didn't use it.
Fortunate because it's illegal for foreign nationals or permanent residents like him to vote in a federal election. But proof of citizenship isn't required to cast a ballot. Gabriel posted online his concerns that others could take advantage of that honor system. Thousands shared his post, some calling for Elections Canada to make passports mandatory at the polls.
I think that any system that relies on somebody's honesty alone is flawed.
CBC News has learned Elections Canada has found roughly 3,500 cases where there's conflicting evidence about an elector's citizenship in the 2019 federal election. But the agency is still working on determining how many of those cases, if any, involve non-Canadian citizens fraudulently casting ballots.
I'd be very surprised if it's actually 3,500 people who are voting illegally.
This election law expert expects many of the cases to turn out to be paperwork errors or other mistakes.
There's a lot of sound and fury about this and non-citizens allegedly voting in the U.S. and all the academic research and the research by think tanks shows that concern was overblown. And it happens very rarely, if at all.
Thank you for voting today.
Studies have also shown strict voter ID requirements in some U.S. states have served as a form of voter suppression. While Elections Canada's analysis is still underway, the agency did say that its preliminary assessment found that the ballots under review were spread out across the country and would not have changed the results in any riding, nor was there any evidence of an organized attempt to disrupt the election. Ashley Burke, CBC News, Ottawa.
A fragile truce between Azerbaijan and Armenia has been threatened by more violence this weekend. More than 300 people have died in fighting that started late last month. It's over this border region that lies in Azerbaijan but has been under the control of ethnic Armenian forces since 1994. Friday, both countries agreed to a temporary ceasefire. But as Chris Brown reports, they have since accused each other of violating it.
Unexploded cluster bombs are part of what makes Nagorno-Karabakh one of the most dangerous places on Earth. During a lull in the fighting, a freelance Armenian video crew sent us these images of people desperate to survive. Nunya Shahramanyan has been sheltering in a basement with her 2 grandkids. We were at a church. We thought it was the safest place, but then they bombarded the church. She said, "We have no home." The Holy Savior Cathedral was hit 3 days ago. Its roof was punctured by a rocket. The floors are now a mess of plaster and broken pews, but parishioners have not abandoned it. The world needs to recognize our independence, said the priest. Everyone can see Turkey's atrocities. Turkey has been backing Azerbaijan, which launched a military offensive to reclaim this territory, which it lost control of 30 years ago. The mostly ethnic Armenians who live here fear atrocities were that to happen. One of the few businesses still operating is this bakery that's feeding Armenian soldiers. My grandson is on the front line. My brother's son as well, she says. All we want is to keep our lands. After every bomb, we think our end has come, she said, but we keep standing, baking the bread. It's clear, though, that there have been violations of the truce on both sides. This is the moment a rocket hit the Azerbaijan city of Ganja. The house was shaken and everything collapsed, he says, in an attack that he claims happened many hours after the start of the ceasefire. Russia brokered this truce and hoped it would be the first step towards a longer ceasefire. The signs are not promising. Chris Brown, CBC News, Moscow.
Pro-democracy protests in Belarus continued for the 11th straight weekend, but the crackdown has been just as relentless. Today in Minsk, water cannons were unleashed on crowds along with security forces. More than 13,000 demonstrators have been detained since the protests began. Today, Canada's foreign minister condemned the crackdown. And in Thailand, a bus crashed into a freight train, killing at least 20 people and injuring dozens. The bus was carrying about 60 passengers. They were traveling to a Buddhist temple near Bangkok. Reports say it was raining at the time of the crash. The injured were brought to 2 hospitals. Police are investigating. A CBC News investigation is shedding light on the business of importing puppies into Canada.
Innocent people are buying these dogs. They want them as pets. So she needs to be shut down.
Up next, what you need to know before buying a dog online. Plus, the push for rapid testing.
I think that ultimately at the moment we have a testing program that is almost useless.
Why some say changing how we test could shorten the pandemic.
Are you Janet?
And later, what Canadians are thankful for this holiday weekend.
COVID's been such an important reminder for us that it's people, especially this one, that are most important.
A moment to reflect during these unprecedented times. We'll be right back. Tonight, we're kicking off a 2-part investigation into the import of puppies into Canada. It is a booming business which ended up in the spotlight this summer when more than 500 puppies arrived from Eastern Europe. Around 40 of them died in transit, but the flights continued. The Canadian Veterinary Medical Association has warned the dogs may be coming from puppy mills and are often infected with parasitic, viral, and bacterial diseases. David Common tonight on what else they're bringing with them.
Up there he is. Come on, there he is. Oh, yes.
Hard to look at a cute dog like Eddie and know that in spite of all this love, his life will be short. He has a serious heart defect, and at some point, overexertion will kill him.
He's tired today. My whole family's going to suffer when he goes. Oh, I could cry. Because he's our boy. It's heartbreaking.
But Debbie McQueen is angry too, alleging the woman who sold Eddie knew the problem.
She imports them. They come from the Ukraine.
That seller is Oksana Medvedev, who was charged 2 years ago. Documents show her vet diagnosed the heart problem as a puppy. But when she sold Eddie to McQueen, the diagnosis had been removed from the paperwork.
She knew she was caught. So I took both reports that I had, the copy she gave me, the copy that her vet gave me, and I took it over to the police station, and they did an investigation and charged her with forgery.
The charges were withdrawn, and Medvedev was ordered onto a peace bond. She also paid expenses to McQueen.
It's not even about the fact of what it's costing me, it's the emotional part. every day we suffer. Get it, what's happening? Get it, get it.
There are many others out there connected to the same seller.
First sign of trouble was the runs that he had.
Justin Tepperman's new puppy had a series of viruses, including Giardia, but within days it would get worse, a serious ailment called an anal prolapse.
His rectum had fell out of his bum.
So what should be inside has now come outside.
Exactly. And that's a very serious thing, and that happened 3 more times.
Each time worse and more costly, thousands of dollars in total, largely paid by insurance.
He's like months old, and this poor thing's like crying in pain.
CBC News has also confirmed health woes with others who've complained, including that puppies either came from or were suspected to have been born in Eastern Europe, known for its intense use of puppy mills. Often sold for thousands within days of import on Kijiji.
You stop growling.
Including Petey.
Would you ever buy another dog off Kijiji?
Absolutely not.
We asked Kijiji about it, and they tell us they are adamantly opposed to puppy mills, saying they take swift action on ads that reference uncontrolled breeding. In a statement from her lawyer, Oksana Medvedev disputes that she acted improperly, negligently, or dishonestly in the sale of puppies, saying she never knowingly sold a dog which she knew to have health issues. Regarding the charges, she claims the allegations were false and did not acknowledge any wrongdoing.
Do 5. Good boy.
Meanwhile, Debbie wants the import of foreign puppies for sale to stop.
Innocent people are buying these dogs. They want them as pets. So she needs to be shut down. Good boy.
A message and a warning to others looking for a pet. David Common, CBC News, Port Perry, Ontario.
And our investigation into imported puppies continues tomorrow. Some questionable sellers are getting a boost of legitimacy from the very organization you'd expect to be cracking down. Still ahead, lessons learned from the pandemic, how an Indigenous-led response helped contain an outbreak. But first, what provinces should take away from their neighbors? Our panel of doctors are standing by.
We're all in this together. We're all in this together. We're all in this together.
It's a theme the Prime Minister has repeated since the beginning of the pandemic. But with each province and territory managing its own COVID rules, the spread of the virus has been different across the country. In the Atlantic provinces, for example, overall there have been very few cases reported in weeks, with many people giving credit to the so-called Atlantic bubble, though there's a rash of cases now in New Brunswick linked to 2 outbreaks. A different story is unfolding in Quebec and Ontario, both seeing record numbers of cases, while in British Columbia, the latest modeling data shows the province is flattening its pandemic curve while allowing travel from other parts of the country. So, are there any lessons that some provinces and territories can learn from others in controlling the spread of COVID-19? So we're going to go coast to coast now, and joining us are infectious disease specialist Dr. Lisa Barrett from Halifax and Dr. Srinivas Murthy here in Vancouver. Dr. Barrett, let me start with you. The Atlantic bubble has largely been regarded as a success story in keeping case numbers low, but are there other factors playing into those low case counts on the East Coast?
Absolutely. To remind people, the Atlantic bubble includes that when you travel from outside our 4 provinces, that you do daily electronic check-ins and that you quarantine or isolate for 14 days. It has helped us to have low case numbers, but there's a couple of other things I don't think we should forget. Number 1, we did wait until our case number was very, very low to 0 for 2 incubation periods before we rolled back precautions. Number 2, we are keeping things fairly tight, and people are good at doing that within our own borders. And then number 3, there's also the fact that with the exception of PEI, which has a fairly high population density, believe it or not, we do have a fairly low population density and the ability to space out a little bit. But a lot of credit goes to Atlantic Canadians who've been doing a great job.
We can talk about population density at a different time because I'm trying to picture PEI and high density, but we'll leave that aside. I'll take your word for it. And let's move across now to the west coast of the country. Dr. Murthy, as I mentioned, Dr. Bonnie Henry, the public health officer here, would like to see numbers lower, but she points out our curve has essentially been flat here for a few weeks now. What's your assessment of how BC is doing?
Yeah, after that spike in late August, we've been able to maintain a reasonably flat curve in terms of cases, hospitalizations, and ICU admissions. So I'm cautiously optimistic that we can maintain this and hopefully push that downwards. We've instituted some policies to limit those spreading events. Things like nightclubs and banquet halls have been closed since late summer. And so hopefully with those policies in place, we're able to continue to flatten and hopefully bring downwards over the coming months.
If we look across the country, daily case rates are virtually zero in Atlantic Canada, except for New Brunswick, which, as we've mentioned, is dealing now with outbreaks. In the West, case rates are more significant, and the highest numbers of all are coming out of Ontario and Quebec. So per capita, Alberta, Manitoba, Ontario, actually kind of similar. New Brunswick's rate getting close to what we're seeing in BC, in Saskatchewan, and Quebec's rate looks the worst. And we know within each province there are variations by city and even by neighborhood. But Dr. Murthy, I want to focus on Quebec and Ontario. From your perspective, why are we seeing those hot spots there?
I think there's many reasons why those are hot spots right now. I think first, they always had some smoldering cases and opened up reasonably early on in the summer. And so a likelihood of it resurging was inevitable. Number two, I think the testing situation. I think that lots of people have had that conversation about the testing challenges they've had in Ontario and Quebec, and having a robust test turnaround time infrastructure in place would be great for them to turn things around. And then lastly, I think they took a while, I guess, to start closing things down when this case count started to surge over the past few weeks, and hopefully things will start to flatten going forward.
And Dr. Barrett, let's finish with this, and I know it's a broad question, but if health officials were to come to you looking for advice, what would you tell them?
I think we need to remember that this is a big country, and this virus, to Dr. Murthy's point, it spreads quickly. So everything we need to do needs to happen quickly, but appropriately for different areas. So number one, I tell them, make sure you look at the area and what the cases and the COVID situation is like there in order to help people make a plan. Number two, keep the resources with public health in order to do rapid testing and tracing, and clearly that needs to get a heck of a lot better almost everywhere in our province. And then number three, provide people with the support they need in order to continue adhering to these precautions that we need to take, make it different for each region, make it appropriate, and make it sufficient to keep people at home when they need to stay home and go out safely when they can go out.
Well, really nice to get your perspectives from the two coasts. Thank you very much for joining us tonight.
Thank you.
And let's turn to another story where health officials learned lessons about managing the pandemic. The worst outbreak so far in an Indigenous community in this country. Bonnie Allen tells us how their community-led response provides a few critical lessons on how to contain COVID-19 in remote areas.
When the outbreak spread through his Dene community in northwestern Saskatchewan, Randy Herman was called on to act. He translated for health officials on the radio in the Dene language. Herman says elders would listen to him in a way they would never listen to an outsider.
They know us, we know them, and they trust us.
It was those elders that Herman was most concerned about in April when the outbreak began in the Indigenous village of La Loche and the nearby Clearwater River Dene Nation. Herman knew the challenges: pre-existing health conditions, densely populated homes, low income, and a history of colonization and distrust.
Governments roll into town and promise everything but the moon, and then they don't deliver. So that's where the mistrust is from.
But this Métis leader says the pandemic prompted unprecedented cooperation.
Well, that was very important because without that teamwork and partnership, you're going to struggle.
Indigenous leaders joined forces with the health authority, the province, and Ottawa to take action. They instituted a community lockdown with roadblocks and a curfew. They turned RV campers into isolation units, delivered food to families, and did door-to-door testing with a portable testing unit that gave results within an hour.
Our leaders are doing the very damnedest that they can.
In all, nearly 300 people were infected, about 7% of the population. Still,
I think it's a success story of how things can be handled.
Carrie Barassa is an Indigenous health researcher.
They have an excellent model that I think can be scaled up in other rural, remote northern communities.
Randy Herman knows his community is still at risk, but now he feels prepared. Bonnie Allen, CBC News, Regina.
When we come back, searching for testing alternatives.
If you can do more testing, even if there's a lower sensitivity, there's a greater impact and a greater possibility of suppressing the pandemic.
How widespread rapid testing could be a game changer. Plus, a different kind of Thanksgiving weekend, but still lots to be thankful for. Your messages coming up.
I'm Josh Block. Tomorrow on CBC's daily news podcast Front Burner. In 1989, Yusuf Salaam was arrested as one of the Central Park Five for a crime he didn't commit. We'll talk about how that's the inspiration for his new novel. Subscribe wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome back. As the pandemic enters its 8th month, one thing has become very clear. Widespread access to testing is crucial to reduce the spread of COVID-19. Here in Canada, a fifth of the population has been tested so far, but an increase in so-called rapid tests promises to increase that number fast. Terrence McKenna now on the potential impact.
What if our entire COVID testing system is on the wrong track? Ineffective at finding contagion and stopping the pandemic. 9 of 10 infected people never show up for these deep penetration nasal tests, and the tests don't differentiate between people who are positive as opposed to still contagious.
Tilt your back just a bit, perfect.
Back in July, Bill Gates said the entire North American testing system was garbage because of the delay in getting a result.
All these numbers about how much we test, the majority is just complete waste. You need to get it back as soon as possible so that somebody can change their behavior so they're not infecting other people.
I think that ultimately at the moment we have a testing program that is almost useless.
Harvard epidemiologist Dr. Michael Mina has become the leader of the opposition to our existing testing system. He says we should test many more people to find those who have no symptoms but are contagious.
We know that we miss somewhere around 90% of all infections altogether. And then amongst those cases that we actually capture and find as positive, we're generally finding them too late in their course of infection.
This is the alternative that Michael Mina proposed last spring, a simple, cheap paper test that can be completed at home.
So actually underneath this plastic is just a piece of paper with the actual test materials on it.
It takes 5 to 10 minutes and would show a line if there's a positive result. He says this will stop people with no symptoms from walking around while contagious.
You know, I keep hearing from government officials that the science is just not ready. These home tests are just not accurate.
They actually are very accurate. They can achieve sensitivities in the high 90 percentile.
So why would a home paper test be better at stopping the pandemic?
The convenience of testing is a very important part of public health. How it works then is that if we have enough people who are frequently testing, then we have a very good shot at finding a lot of people who turn positive, say in the first day that they're potentially transmitting virus.
So even though a home paper test would be perhaps less accurate than a PCR test, it would be more effective at stopping the pandemic.
That's exactly right. So we've been so focused on the accuracy of the test that we have completely lost track of the effectiveness of the testing program.
Michael Mina's home test crusade has been supported by Boston University economist Lawrence Kotlikoff, who says the idea makes financial sense even if someone is testing themselves every day.
It probably will cost $1 a day per person at the end after we really mass produce these rapid home tests. And that's $365 a year. That's peanuts compared to the annual wages that an average American worker earns, which is more like $55,000. So this, on a cost-benefit analysis, this is a no-brainer. This is the way to save the economy at extremely low cost.
Governments in the United States and Canada have been taking baby steps towards rapid testing. Last March, the U.S. introduced the Abbott ID rapid test and started using it to test all White House visitors. The test needs to be administered by a medical professional using an expensive machine, far more complicated than a simple home test. The Canadian government finally authorized that test last week, a 7-month delay. Now there is a Canadian company ready to produce a rapid test once they get government authorization, the Sono Nanotech Lab in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia. CEO David Regan says this test gives results in a few minutes.
So if you can do more testing, even if there's a lower sensitivity, there's a greater impact and a greater possibility of suppressing the pandemic.
The Nova Scotia test has not yet been approved, but this week Health Canada did approve a similar American test that also can be done in doctors' offices and pharmacies, but not at home.
The work that Health Canada is doing is both on the accuracy of the test within a certain parameter when they're assessing any kind of rapid test, but also working to understand how that test might be used.
If you can catch 70% of people with a less accurate test that's more deployable to many more people, that's much better than capturing only 5% of people with a very, very accurate test.
Remote Indigenous communities are in serious danger during a COVID outbreak because of often overcrowded living conditions. But now testing there often takes 2 weeks to get a result. Indigenous health doctor Anna Banerjee says home testing would be a game changer for Canada's north.
That will help public health react appropriately quicker. So I think that there's a big, that can be very useful compared to the current way things are done in Indigenous communities.
So if you were able to put this in effect very quickly, how fast do you think it would shut down the pandemic?
If 50% of a population was using one of these tests every 3 days and 10% of the tests failed, we think that they would still be able to get outbreaks under control in about 4 to 6 weeks.
Last Monday, the U.S. government introduced a new home-style test called the Abbott Binax Now.
Into the test, twist it 3 times.
The U.S. will distribute 150 million such tests. Will there be another 7-month wait before a COVID home test will come to Canada? Terence McKenna, CBC News, Toronto.
After the break, deep into this pandemic, we asked what you are grateful for.
At a time like this, I think the thing we're most thankful for is extra time with our family and our health.
Some of your Thanksgiving messages are next in our moment.
At a time like this, I think the thing we're most thankful for is extra time with our family and our health. And not everyone can say that, so we really do need to be thankful for what we do have. So happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
Happy Thanksgiving.
On this somewhat extraordinary Thanksgiving, I reached out on Twitter to find out what some of you are grateful for this year, and here's what you told us in our moment tonight.
May all your dreams be happy ones. I couldn't be happier for you both.
Happy wedding day.
All the best. Cheers.
Congratulations!
All the best.
In August, we were supposed to be married in front of 200 people. Because of COVID, we could only have our immediate family there. But we had over 200 of our closest friends and family watching by Zoom.
Congratulations!
I'm thankful for my wonderful husband of 32 years, my 2 beautiful children and their spouses, and my 2 beautiful granddaughters.
I'd really love to give a shout out to the personal support workers who work tirelessly in our long-term care homes. My mom is in long-term care, and for that, I am so grateful.
3 months later, after my lung transplant, I'm able to jog. I'm able to go out with my dog each day, be with my family now, and it's just, I'm so grateful.
This Thanksgiving, I am thankful for the incredible women of my life, including and especially my resilient mother. I want to thank her for all that she's done throughout my life, but especially during the 7 months of this pandemic.
COVID's been such an important reminder for us that it's people, especially this one, that are most important and not things.
Happy Thanksgiving, everyone.
So when our producer Ariel said to me, you should send a tweet out and ask people about what's special this Thanksgiving, I thought, really? Twitter? We're going to do that? But the responses were fantastic, heartwarming. You can go to my Twitter account at Ian Hanomansing and see the thread. And some people said even reading the thread was nice. And a shout out to Jennifer, also part of our team, who tracked some of you down and put that together. And on behalf of all the people you heard, on behalf of all of us at the National, I hope you do have a great Thanksgiving. That is the National for October the 11th. Good night.